For many who went on a spending spree in December, January will feel like the longest month this year. And January woes often lead people to turning to lenders. And of course, there are various warnings and things to consider around that. To discuss, we're joined by the director responsible for Free State consumer protection issues, Timothy Radikeledi. Mr. Radikeledi, thank you for being with us. Despite the warnings last year, I guess many of us will be under pressure this January.
Good afternoon or good evening to you, Francis, and compliments of 2023. We are hoping that this new year will be coming with the goodies for us, all of us in the country. Yes, we are here to talk about, promoting responsible borrowing as well as lending. We are under the stewardship of our member of the Executive Council responsible for Department of Economic, Small Business Development, that's Mr. Makalo Muhale. And we are saying to our consumers there, let us think about the needs and not the wants, because that is very, very important. Larger part of our society, they are unable to get loans from the mainstream banks in South Africa. And where do they lend? They lend with micro lending. And that's the biggest problem wherein, we have to concentrate on. We are advising our people that before you get to sign a contract, when you want a loan from a micro lender, try by all means just to make sure that that micro lender is registered. And it is through these channels that we are encouraging people to contact the National Credit Regulator. And let me give the number whilst I'm talking here. The number for National Credit Regulator is 0860-627-627. And let me repeat the number, 0860-627-627. Another noteworthy point that we have to bring to the attention of our listeners is that just before you sign, make it a point that you read each and every small detail in terms of the terms and conditions that would have been reduced into writing in that particular contract. And don't just sign. Ask the credit provider to give you the contract. Go home with it. Discuss it with your spouse. Discuss it with your husband or wife. Make it a point that wherever you find something that is uncomfortable to you, make it a point that you scratch it. That is allowed in South Africa. Scratch it and you attest a small signature. And immediately when you are happy, after having attested the signature, make it a point again that you ask the credit provider to give you the copy. The reason being, in the nearest of futures, we don't know what's going to happen in about a year or 2 or 3. Then we would need a copy of the contract. That is the very first point of departure. Immediately when you need our intervention, when there is a problem, then we would need the copy of the contract.
Mr. Radikeledi, will this help enough people? My question is, are there enough good registered micro lenders as opposed to the insane loan sharks to help people who are very poor and very desperate?
That is why we are encouraging people through these programs to widen their knowledge as to how they should assist themselves. Don't just get into the deep without not having necessary knowledge. That is the reason. And the other thing is, yes, you are putting it correctly, that there's mushrooming of these unregistered micro-lenders. And we have to make it a point that our people, before they get to contract, they should first ask many questions. And when you ask, it's not that you are foolish. You need to know. I always encourage people to ask questions before you get to know. Try to make it a point that that contract, when you be satisfied with it, make it a point that it has got somewhere where it covers you in terms of the insurance. There are a number of things that can happen in one's life. In the event that you pass away, obviously that insurance will have to cover and pay off and settle everything. In the event that you get injured for some other reason, to the extent that you are unable to work, obviously that insurance is going to cover you. And lastly, when your employment, wherever you are employed, then all of a sudden there is no longer employment in there. Obviously that insurance will definitely cover you. So we are inculcating this knowledge to the people that before you enter into a contract, please make it a point that you cover yourself. And again, one thing that has come to our attention as the department is that people would just not, pay the required amount of money that is required in terms of the contract. Let me make an example. If it is needed that you need to pay 1,500 rands on a monthly basis, then some other month, then you pay 1,400, 1,300 rands. Good people, you have defaulted, and that has got a negative bearing into your credit worthiness. Absolutely. So rather pay more in order to minimize the period within which you would have squashed that debt.
All right, Mr. Radikeledi, I'm sorry we've run out of time, but thank you for the very concrete advice. And we did bring up the number as well, 0860-627-627. A great piece of advice. Speak to the National Credit Regulator if you'd like to find out if the micro lender is registered. That was Timothy Radikeledi, Free State Consumer Affairs.